What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Real NBA video. So in today's video I'm going to be talking about the Indiana Pacers and whether or not I think they're a championship team. So yeah, but before the video starts, please like and subscribe. That would be really appreciated. And yeah, let's get right into the video. So the Indiana Pacers are currently sitting at the 6th spot in the Eastern Conference with 32 wins and 23 losses. And I think it's safe to say that most people don't think they're going to win the East this year. But I have an argument as to why they might be the biggest dark horse to win the East this year. So the first thing I want to say is that the Pacers have not had Victor Oladipo, and they were still able to keep everything afloat for the most part. A lot of players stepped up their game in Oladipo's absence, and they were still a pretty good team while their best player was out with an injury, which is saying a lot. Most teams, if their best player is out with an injury, they just collapse and they become a bad team. But for the most part, the Indiana Pacers were able to keep everything afloat. Obviously, they weren't as good as they were when they had Oladipo, but they were still able to be a competitive team. They were still able to be in the middle of the playoffs, and yeah, so that's pretty impressive to say the least. So like I said, there was a lot of players that stepped up their game in Oladipo's absence. So first off, let's start off with Domantas Sabonis. He was an all-star this year for the Pacers. He's averaging 18 points per game, 12.5 rebounds per game, and those are both career highs. He's a double-double machine, and he's just overall one of the most underrated players in the entire NBA. He provides scoring, rebounding, and even some facilitating, as he's averaging 5 assists per game, which is also a career high. He's very important to the success that this Pacers team has had, and his future is looking bright as he's only 23 years old. So yeah, Domantas Sabonis has just been an overall really good player. Like I said, he made the All-Star team this year. He's just been a really good bright spot for the Pacers this year, and he's only going to become better and better because, like I said, he's really young. And some other players on the Pacers that have been doing really good is Malcolm Brogdon. Brogdon has been a good piece for the Pacers this year. He's been one of the go-to scorers on the Pacers, averaging 16, 7, and 5 on some decent shooting splits, and he's just been a good acquisition for this Pacers team, and I think he will improve more and more as the season goes on. As you probably know, the Pacers acquired Brogdon in the offseason. He's just been a really good player, and he's going to be a very important piece to the Pacers in the playoffs. Another important piece on the Pacers is TJ Warren. TJ Warren is averaging 18.5 points per game, 2 assists per game, and 3 rebounds per game. And he's also a pretty underrated player because not many people are talking about TJ Warren, even though TJ Warren is having a really good year this year. The only time that I've ever seen anyone talk about TJ Warren was when he got into that altercation with Jimmy Butler. Like, him and Jimmy Butler had like a fight, or they were just arguing, and literally that was the only time I've ever seen anyone talk about TJ Warren in the media, which is kind of weird because, like I said, he's averaging 18.5 points per game, and he's just a really good player for this Pacers team. But nonetheless, he's a pretty good scorer, and he's a pretty good shot creator, and yeah, it's pretty impressive that he's averaging almost 20 points per game on one of the best teams in the East. Now let's talk about Victor Oladipo. Oladipo has been the best player on this Pacers team the past couple of years, but like I said, he had an unfortunate injury last year that made him miss the remainder of that season and the first half of this season. And right now he has only played 7 games this season, averaging 11, 3, and 2. And obviously he's rusty and he's getting his rhythm back, so hopefully in the second half of the season he'll be back to normal and back to his all-star self, because if the Pacers want to win a championship, they're probably going to need Victor Oladipo to be 100% again. Right now they're the 6th seed. They're probably like a solid 2nd or 3rd seed, maybe 4th seed with Victor Oladipo on the team, in my opinion. Now as for the rest of the assets on this team, you got Miles Turner, who's a good rim protector and defensive player overall. You got Doug McDermott and Justin Holiday, who are some pretty good shooters. They can space the floor. Justin Holiday is also a pretty good defender. TJ McConnell, who's a great hustle player. Goga Bitadze, who has a lot of potential to become a good player in the league, and some other good players like Aaron Holiday, Jeremy Lamb, and TJ Leaf. This team is deep and they have a lot of good players, so all I'm saying is if Victor Oladipo can get back to his old self, they'll probably be in the fight to win the East, and maybe they can win a championship. But as of right now, it's looking kind of rough for the Pacers because, like I said, Victor Oladipo still has to get back to his old self. Even if he does get back to his old self, it's going to be really difficult to get past teams like the Raptors, Bucks, and Sixers, and all those teams in the playoffs. If they do get past those teams in the East, they'll have to go up against the Lakers or Clippers, but I think they do have a chance to win the East, and I think they're the biggest dark horse in the East this year. But that's going to be all for the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share, and I'll see you next time.